Okay, hi to everyone. I talked about trying to stream a little bit earlier now compared to before, so let's see how the connection handles now. Yeah, I don't think this hand is good to call against 3, but also villain stack is on the shorter side, so not as much implied if I actually happen to hit the set or something. Versus the limp. Well, we have pretty crappy hand, so let's just check. And well, ace king deuce, we have backdoor flush draw, so it's with the 3 card. I think we can probably check, and though it's the downside that if the villain bets now, it's kind of tricky to continue. I think we can bet on the bottom right for protection. But yeah, I think like here it's such a flop that in my opinion that it's not really bad to just check and be ready to give up here. Bottom right might be a bit on a thin side, I suppose. Interesting spot on the bottom left, it's button versus big blind, we have the ace blocker. So I think we could 4-bet as well. And we have overpair and nut flush draw, so I suppose we only have SPR1, so this guy has queens and he well, yeah, ace is not out here. Oh well, strong start. 2 times players have hands that should have definitely folded to 4-bets, and both times they suck out. Oh well. Oh well, oh well. Nasty start. I mean, I think you can't really have much worse hand than 1 paired hand when you face 4-bet, basically. At least in my opinion. Interesting river card on the bottom right. And against this sizing, I think we can probably call. I mean, he could have some queen jack, some flush draws. So he might bet like this with some trips or straight as well. And he had to checkmate, unfortunately. I mean, we need to be good like 1 out of 4 times. But yeah, so this guy had queen jack jack 4. I don't think this hand has any point in really in free betting in first place. Even less calling 4-bet. And on the bottom left, I suppose we could also. Oh, it was actually 3-way, but I actually missed that fact. Oh well. I should have probably just checked here. It checks really fast, but I think it's really hard to get value by betting, but that was really fast check. He could still have the king, but not this time. Not this time. Bottom right we have open ender and will checked on the flop, so he probably doesn't have that strong of hand most of the time. Interesting cards though. I think we have to bluff here or is it out? Oh, he turned 2 pairs. Well, yeah, that was fine. A fine fold anyway on the bottom left. There was 3-bet as well, so I don't think we want to be continuing with that sort of double-footed hand against UTG open and 3-bet. By the way, what did this guy have on the top left when I had those? I think ace, king, king, queen or something. He had pocket queens double suited. Both guys flopping trips. Those hands quite a nasty outcome, I would say. Well, bottom left we can complete. We still have them at flush draw ace king. Oh, maybe it's fine. I think we could try to just tap here. Don't really benefit from, well, we have the backdoor flush draw, but I think it would be a pretty nice outcome if we get the pot down here. Still fairly try. Only 7-8, giving the open-ended, no flush draw. Ace then queen 3, I think we want to call from position. It's not, I don't think it's really strong enough to necessarily go for 3-bet. And we flop trips. So if everyone checks to me, I think we want to bet half pot. Oh, this guy donk bets really small, so we have pretty strong hands here. We don't have flush draw, so I think we want to just, I mean, against this short stack we are definitely happy to stack off, in my opinion, at least. So if this deeper stack comes along, it's a bit more tricky. The question is, do we want to bet again? I think ace-6, ace-2 should be quite rare, but at the same time, he might have ace-king as well. And if we get check raised, it's quite a disaster, I suppose. So maybe checking is fine. And now he pots. Well, the thing is, we don't block most of the flush draws, at least. Now, ace 5, 7, 6. Oh well, how lucky can people be? Hitting everything. Okay, so here we'll lane bet small on the flop and And I'd raise, he called. I think we can go fairly large here if he has the 7x. If he's raising me, I'm going to fold here. In the main hand we get value from is most likely just weaker 7x pretty much. Top left we have, well, ways too strong hand, and I think we can have a decent amount of fold equity. Well, I'm not sure, but and if he has like aces, he should be folding. He doesn't have like something to support them. Well, I don't think that's that much, but maybe it's fine. And we miss everything. No rebuy. Weak enough. No idea why he doesn't raise on the turn. He has the same hand with the redraw here or flop. And he turned the flush draw. TG limper, well, I don't think this hand is good enough. The 5 so disconnected, just check high. Check high flush draw. Bottom left, not totally sure if this hand is fine to call or not. At least if we had a little bit bigger pair, it would be totally fine. Not flush draw. And they both check, so well, it's bad if we get raised, but at the same time, I don't think this guy, as brave of aggressor, is often going for check raise. I think people tend to be quite face up when they check in those 3-way spots, especially. I'm not going to be balancing most of the time. So either it's some sort of mediocre hand that he's planning to check call, or weak hand that is going to be check folding. From my experience. Yeah, I think we are like 3 stacks down currently, so a bit over with 3 buys, or I have filled up the stack 100 pp. We have top pair and bottom pair 4-way pot. Not flush draw blocker. Well, I think it's probably best to lead. We can fold if someone raises. But that is total blank and they didn't raise the flop, so I would decrease at least some sets. I think Queen Jack might be still here, but probably not from this short player at least. I would imagine he would be happy to raise the flop if he had Queen Jack. And that was kind of an unfortunate card because King 10 is completing now. Or 10-8, well that's less likely. But it's 3-way, so yeah, I have to fold here, I think. €90 down, roughly. But yeah, those two Ace King King hands I had, I think both were pretty reasonable, considering the positions and so on. Then Jack 4-5 double shooter, but it's really disconnected components and UTG, so probably best to just fold. And in here we don't really have much going on. So let's take the free card if we turn not flush draw or something. That would be nice. We don't, and we only have 1-9, we don't have diamond, so I think we have no business in betting here, most likely. Oh, this guy goes for limp 3-bet. Oh well, I'm not sure if we should be folding or just that we have fairly connected hands, so I talked, we can maybe go for call. Then we have only open ender with one player behind. This guy probably has aces once again. If I had pair with the open ender, then definitely getting it in, but I don't think the open ender alone is enough. Okay, so we turned the straight on the bottom right. Then 9-10 beats me, but it's also just, well, that was crappy. That was crappy once again. Now we lose to AX full houses. We are blocking 10-0, but I don't think there is value in betting, and we just have to fold once again. I think he has really often full house here. Also no flush draw on the board, so it's probably quite tough to find bluffs here. Oh well, and once again 3-bet. Well, let's just fold. King and weak flush draw and gut. We have showdown value, but I don't see too much point in betting. Probably, of course, ace comes on the river. Top 2 we are blocking or sets quite a bit. I think donk betting probably makes sense. I'm not totally sure, but I mean, extremely often if I check, this goes check, and my hand don't have much support with the top 2, so might be okay option. Seems like I'm dropping no frames at all. I actually don't have the chat open if someone happens to be commenting, so let's actually open that one. So it might be that my connection just perhaps there is too much other users. Ace King Jack 3. I don't think we want to 3-bet because it's still UTG open, but I think hand is too strong to be just folded as well. And top left we have straight and no support. Queen blocker flushes. I mean, I kind of like leading. We can fold if opponent raises, but when he doesn't raise, again, I would discount some of the 7-8 at least, 7-9 at least. So I think we are really often good here. Actually, yesterday when I tried to play on the Unibet, there was some login issues or something. Wasn't able to log in at all, so ended up playing in Run It once. That ended with, I think, 20-30 euro profit or something. 4 tables of PLO 10. Bottom left, I think, pretty standard call with that hand. We don't have ace blocker, so I don't think 3-betting really make that much sense. And I think in this scenario we are kind of priced in for the call, even though I'm not a big fan of it. Just hard to flop something strong enough with these hands. Well, I think this is again hands that we can raise, and if someone 3-bets we can call, but we just end up in these sort of situations really often. Ace King 8 deuce, well 3x, maybe even in 4-way pot should be maybe rare enough that we can see, but so they can have flush draws as well, but and of course diamond on the river. I just didn't want to float the pot, so if he checks behind it's fine, but 10 Jerry, so he had to 3-net here. It was fine 10. What garbage he had? King 7, 6, 3 double suited. Well, relatively cheap price, but Not sure if we should be calling. It's basically just one nut component. Perhaps optimistic, even though the odds are, of course, really good. Double pair. I would usually 3-bet, but I don't know, with these 2 limps before and 10 raise. Of course, the issue of calling is that we end up. Jesus. Limp 3-bet, of course. Well. On the bottom left, this guy seems to be going all in pretty enthusiastically with those double suited AX hands. Okay, I just tried to take the pot down here. We don't really have that much value with the pocket checks. So. But probably lost, or he just called with the bottom pair. It's one way to go. Here he had the cut shot at least. And chilly on limpers once again. We have, I think, strong enough hand. It's queen 10, suited to ace. And flop is crappy one. Top 2, well, it's still pretty weak holding. But let's see if we get river and flush completes as well. So, well, if it goes check to showdown, we have a decent chance to win, but no point in betting, really. Oh yeah, premium hand, king 7, 4, 3. This guy had at least a little bit better Double shooted. Well, if this guy happens to be limping with the aces, once again, it's not such an issue. I mean, this hand has quite a bit of equity. Equity overall if we would happen to flop something. But we don't. Is 5 deuce 3. Didn't really block anything on that board. I was thinking about just checking back and seeing if we turn some equity. Okay, at least today it seems to be working. Absolutely no drop frames so far. Yeah, it might just be that at the evening time there is so many users on the same connection bandwidth, so will cause the issues. Well, let's just limp. Still have suited ace and pocket pair. Now we have not flush draw and gut shot. We definitely can stack off against this player, but I think I obviously don't have any fold equity against him, and basically no showdown value, so I think it's better to call, and it's beneficial for me basically if this guy stays on the pot. I had the outs alive, and I think also 4 was out. Yeah. Double shooted, not so connected hand though. Not totally sure if we want to call on the bottom left without shooted version. Let's be too wide. It's definitely open raise raise with the A blocker, but and top left we had top 2, but not really anything else, so I think we want to be checking. We can still call, I think, as bluff catcher, but we have some nutty possibilities. Hit. And top right. Well, I think when he calls we have, not totally sure again what we should be doing here, but I think there is pretty high chance that our hand is the best one here. So I'm not a big fan if he happens to raise against me here. Too happy about the situation, but we are committed at that point, I suppose. Oh, what this guy actually had here. I think he had straight or something, but yeah, we were actually, well, better made hand at the turn, but he actually made the straight with 5-8. He has the flush draw as well, so I think it was fine. So these two guys cold call my 3-bet. Funny people. And both has, and that should be snap folding pre-flop. Not so surprisingly. But when you nail every port, well, that's the way it goes. Yeah, this bottom left specialties. Dorkalalo is pretty huge whale. I mean, calling that garbage tier pre-flop is totally absurd. So this guy open, I 3-bet bottom call, which he shouldn't have done either, but anyway, this guy comes along from the worst possible position with total garbage. I mean, he can be so easily dominated by better grabs as well. Some nice hand, especially top right. 3-way pots, and we don't really have a middle pair weak flush draw. Well, let's see if we get cheap card. Now we have 2 pairs, not gutshot as well. So I think we want to be betting here. I think on the bottom right I could have actually gone for lead. I didn't have any showdown value, but quite much nutty outs. 6 and club. Double suited AX, though it's not the most premium one. Wonder if just calling would perhaps be better than 3-betting. I think folding is probably on the weak side. This could actually be, well, from the small blind it's hard for me to be repping much, but I wonder if donk betting could still make most sense. We don't really want to be check calling with that sort of hand, so we want to continue. It's more of donk bet or check raise type of spot, I think. Though at the same time, as I said, when I call from the small blind, it's extremely hard for me to have the trips here, I think. That might not be as big issue if the will lane doesn't think in the ranges type of way. Well, this hand suck big time to call 3-bets. You only have one shoot, no connectiveness, and this guy has total garbage. Well, I'm not garbage, but I wouldn't at least 3-bet that sort of stuff. Really disconnected. And once again we face 3-bet. If someone doesn't overcall here, I'm just folding single suited kings. No ace blocker either. I think top left we have double suited pair, so we can probably call, but again, I don't really like it. We are just going to end up folding so very often. Well, I'm not really sure if it's even plus EV to call, to be honest, but maybe it is. Well, today seems to be some sort of 3-bet every spot. 3-bet every spot stuff. We get the check raise on the upper right, of course this guy doesn't bet. 6-8 kings, but it's 4-way. You have nice blockers though, and everyone checked me. I'm going to attack here. If the river doesn't change the board much, I'm just going to be putting the river. I mean, we have blockers to king 10 and also weaker straights. Thank you. 666. Not a good hand. You are not a true believer of that stuff. And two callers upper right, we don't really flop much again. Most players checking, so let's try to step. Not sure if it's a good idea at all, but works this time. And outside table called 3-bet here, but we don't really. If we had 8-9 10 jack, we would be happy to get it in, but and it would have hit anyway. So in here we have top 2 and 10 high flush draw. I think we can try to get check raise in. Doesn't happen, but we still have practically, well, most likely the best hand, but here are now a lot more straight draws, so. And we are not that eager to see the club either with 10 high flush, so I think potting tier is maybe leading the flop would have been good as well, or better option than check. Well, top left, we are definitely calling against the 3-bet with double pair. If someone happens to 3-bet once again. And outside table we get not such a good losing situation, 4-way pot. And we have second set. I wonder if it's better to check behind, because we get raised here, it's really nasty situation, I think. Well, he had the top set with the open ender, so I suppose we got away cheap here. These ace-6 deuce, we have some playability, so I think I'm just going to 3-bet here. I mean, it's really often going to end up in 3 or 4-way pots, so. But not. Oh, wow. They actually called. Everyone folded. What the heck? That's some sort of miracle. Yeah, we want to be c-betting here, and if he raises, I think we have to go all in. I mean, we are plugging top 2, so on. And I think here we can just, it's extremely often that we have the best hand, so we still need protection. And we have really often the best hand, but the question is there value in betting? The line has Villain has taken, I would imagine that it's pretty rare for him to have a better hand, so. I think I'm going to be putting. We could still call sometimes like king 9 or. Well, top left went checked with the aces. Well, as played, I think I'm just going to lead here. Should have obviously been pre-flop raise. And spade has missed. So I think we want to just bet big here and hope he rose with the weaker straight. Well, I probably lost quite a lot of money here by not raising pre-flop because I didn't notice the hand. We then would have called pre-flop and he would have hit the 9/10 here, so have got much more in, most likely. But we have actually built, we have 160, 180 big blind on the yellow 10 tables. Little bit fill on the hole. I kind of don't like that there is no, I don't think there is even any setting for alerts. Well, actually I don't have alerts on, so maybe by having this active we actually get some sort of audio when hand is going to be checked or folded, timing out. So we have this stupid audio on every decision as well. King, queen, jack, double suited, open razor is also short stack, so I'm more than happy to rebet. And we have SPR2, deuce is extremely unlikely, should be. I think we can just solve here and he hits his weak flush draw. Yeah, I kind of hate this that it's keeping all the. I don't think there is any sort of. I don't want to have alerts on every time I have any decision. To be honest. Well, top pair with a lot of chances to hit the second top 2. And top left we hit the second not flush draw. Not the greatest situation overall. Okay, and this guy had kind of everything. We also have the weak redraw. Oh well. We probably should be calling that, but I mean, it was also 3 or 4 way on the flop, and he starts just potting, so looks pretty believable at least. But yeah, it might have been best just to fold pre-flop. Mm. Well, outside table got great price, had 2 flush draws, but no success hitting anything. Well, now we actually beat AX on the bottom right. Kind of awkward flop once again here. Top left. Mm. around €100 down currently. But yeah, it can come back easily if quickly if things just turn around. We have really crappy queens here, so folding kings we can call. Outside the table we are 4-way pots, but we have pocket kings, backdoor flush draw and open ender, so we can probably stack off even with the 4-way situation. And he has queen jack 3-7 total fucking garbage. Of course. Of course. What the hell is this guy doing? I mean, he has such obvious 4-bet pre-flop that... Oh yeah, he was 3. Oh, okay. I was thinking that he called and this guy 3-bet, but... Okay, yeah. Okay, well now we can be folding. That'd be a nice hand to see the flop, but I don't think we have equity. We are so crossed against aces. And no one even has the aces. Well, we would have lost anyway. Pretty wild stuff. Pretty wild stuff going on at that table. I open a call. 3 bets. 4 betting pocket kings. Cold 4 betting. Nobody gets it in middle. This guy gets all in. 6-6-5-4. Oh well. Three aces, well, against the shorty especially. Well, even against these two we are obviously pretty happy to 3-bet. I think against open razor I would have 3-bet, but I don't know with the caller. And we get open-ender middle pair. Or wrap actually. Bottom end wrap. We can't really be folding on most actions, but I don't think we necessarily want to be leading any either. It's not such a strong hand. Those should be pretty rare, though. Can we get any overpair to fold? And there might be also full houses possible. So for this action, so this is pretty weird. Like maybe he actually has to do or something. He doesn't bet the flop, and now he's raising. You don't have sets and such. Maybe he has queen deuce or deuce x or some sort of move, but I think it's pretty clear fold spot. Ace deuce. Once again, bottom limp. Well, let's just check. It's not really that good of a hand. Oh well, this guy is running hot. 250 euro. 10 pines. Well, I don't know, upper left 2 cards connected. This guy has been limping pretty much all the time, I think. Well, I think we have to call here. We have the not open-ender top pair. And flush completing. And now we get to fold. Well, bottom top right, not such a strong trips, but we still kind of have to call it here. He continues here. And he bots again. Problem is that we don't really have much chances to improve. And we also have one player behind, so I'm actually calling here. Probably fine. And he could have full house already and so on. Ace 8. And bottom right. Well, I doubt Willen is going for check raise, so I think we could try to get some sort of two pair or something to call. He have the same hand draw. He has the 9. And top right, well, not totally sure, but just going to pot. Interesting line, because we also have the 2 9s, so would he be something like queen jack for value here, not raising turn? Not raising set. Euro call worked. Interesting spot. Another turn, I think it's a spot where we kind of have the best hand really often, but and we also want protection, and we also have equity cut shot, some set outs, fast draw, so I think it's fine to probably pot the fine probably to pot turn. Well, accidentally open limp button with the kings. Well, of course not, when I make such play. No redraw, so well, backdoor flush draw. And we get some crappy turn. And now he's probably having to flush. Has been also really passive opponent. I'm just folding. I don't think he's going to value bet straight here. I'm rematching at least. same limper guy, which was on the opponent. I had this king high streak here. Well, this time we have aces with the not flush draw and not backdoor flush draw, so okay, well, we want to just raise probably. That's it. Oh, I actually folded. Well, it's not really such a bad outcome because we only had pocket aces at that point. Well, we definitely have to call top left. And we evade that queen, of course. Everything around it, but no queen. Well, would have been nice spot to hit the flush, everyone having flush. Well, I suppose it was kind of lucky that we didn't have king queen when this guy had queen. And I forgot to reply once again. Well, 3 spades, but it's pretty connected, and this guy was min raising, but I think it's still a pretty nice hand to defend overall. But there is no straight possibility as well, and we don't really have any nutty outs. Oh, premium aces on the bottom right. So we get action before horrible flop. We actually do. Okay. Well, let's 5 bet, I suppose. Or is it 4 bet? Yeah. This guy was limping. And he folds when he has, well, that's pretty funny. I mean, he's really short stack and he's limp. Actually, yeah, limp 3 bet folding. Well, that's creative line at least. kind of interesting hit here. We have, I was thinking about leading, but this guy led before, so well, let's just take the call option, and this guy raises, of course. Left we have Gutshot, Jack, High Flush, Draw. I think free card would be, we have double Gutshot actually. Well, let's go with the check call. And we hit the nuts. I'm actually trying to check here. This guy only had €1.5, so he might be eager to put it in even on kind of a scary card. And this guy might have called, and then I would have got the chance to raise. Well, he had the same hand. And this should have been probably call. Oh, he did use pot size bet. We only have out of pair and Gutshot. Should have been anyway. I mean, open ender. Should have been call anyway, I think, but it's not actually such a great spot probably. Overall. Well, I could actually take a picture of that situation. I think it was heads up, but I mean, he's short stack, so should we even raise here? Still have ace jack and open ender. But yeah, that's the way I have been doing that when I played here on the Unibet, that I take quite a lot of these. Images. I decided to just fold it here. I don't think that might have been actually decent hands to call anyway, but this guy's once again limping. Might be, of course it double shooted, but might still be kind of a borderline hand.
Helsingissä on koronavirus.
Kings. Okay. Not a hand to call 3-bet. Well, this one would definitely be if someone happens to do that. Also, this short of upper right was disconnected. AX hands single shooted. I wonder if they actually make profit. In here we only have 5x, and I think it's better to check back, because if we get raised it's ugly overall. And I don't think we have ton of fold equity 3-way on that board. Well, of course, if we only have flush as out, but I think if we hit 5 or ace, it can also be good, and maybe once in a decade he actually has some sort of wrap that we are beating with the 5x. I think it's somewhat plausible. And he checks now. We have Jack X, Jack 7. I wonder if we could turn this hand into bluff. Don't really have showdown value, so let's try. Might fail though. Luckily it worked. But that is actually once again a hand that I think has kind of every street is actually kind of outside of pre-flop is all kind of interesting decision points which are not really clear for me personally. But yeah, I think on the flop, like when we don't have pretty much any support outside of the plus draw here, and we don't, like if we had ace king x, then we would also block those check raising hands quite a bit. Ace queen 10-3. Well, I think we have some blockers going on, but might be better to just check too. Well, double paired and don't hit. We have blockers to nuts, but I wonder how often it's going to work, but we start both of them calling. Just give up. Okay, we are committed. We hit something on the bottom left. Of course, that guy has the... Oh well, not running well. Not running well. sure about top left. It's upper side cap hand, but still pretty decent, I think. I was kind of trying to look that did he hit straight or something now. King 10-7. Well, now we are blocking the straight and 10. I mean, full house is there point in betting? Is the question, so or could we use more preferably as bluff catcher? I mean, he can still have some full houses here, so now it's even less likely basically. I think at this point we should be going for value, but we can get bigger 10x, 9x to call, I would imagine. Or maybe not. So how did this exactly go? Was this guy... Okay, so he was like, I have the kings, I'm going to stack off. But yeah, I mean, I open raise here. I have no option to fold here. This guy 3-bets, so I have to take the flop. And I mean, if we still completely miss the flop, I think it's fine to still fold. But or if it's like dry a high flop or something like that, we still have option to fold, or some paired boards that we don't hit at all. Yeah, I suppose this guy was thinking that when the short stack 3-bet, he doesn't mind to stack off against him, and when I just called, I don't have the aces most likely, so thought it was probably fine play. Bottom left might even be fold actually. Was no shoot and it's not really extremely connected either. Top set. I think I'm just going to lead here. It just seems like when you try to check raise this sort of hand, it just fails almost every time when you are blocking those top pairs. People are just not going to bet it often enough. actually won with that. Well, 4-bet chance here on the outside table with the aces. And we hit really strong. Yeah, he didn't have the straight flush. Almost had it. Almost had it. What is the current situation? Doesn't really matter, but 28 euros, 105, 122, 140, 140 euros currently in the tables. So it's still around 100 euro down. Yeah, we lost on the bottom left that pretty much stack on the 25 euro. Yellow 25 table, so. But yeah, I don't think there was really anything to do otherwise on that hand. Ace king. Oh. What the heck happened in this hand? Is it really fixed 3-player? Like, why doesn't it go back? I have to play boost here and go from the start, then it works. So this guy 3-bet once again. Yeah, this guy has the king X with the not flush draw. I wonder why he doesn't just check here with the ace king. Turn. I mean, it's kind of a disaster to get raised here, and then you kind of have to stack off probably. And I don't know if he really gets any better hand to fold either by betting here. Well, no point of 3-bet the king 7-5. We have gutsshot over pair. And backdoor flush draw. Don't really mind if the villain check behind. Now we have double gutshots with the kings. I think we could argue about betting for protection and sort of thin value, and we don't really mind if the villain folds. And he calls flush complete. So straight complete. Should we be bluffing now? Because we have kind of relevant card. Well, it might be that he has too often some sort of flush. Or those, yeah. Yep. That's the way. well a mile ahead on the turn. Well, I think PLO 10 has gone pretty nice, but I have probably lost like €100 on the PLO 25 or something. Wonder which mad garbage this guy is now stacking off. Well, he hit the top 2. Jacks, 10, 7, 7 double shooted. Probably quite close to open race or not. And we get zillion colors. No hearts blocker. I think we want to just check. If we get checked around, we might have some chances to use the straight blockers later on. That would have been nice flop, but unfortunately that 4 was here on the hand. And we flopped the nuts on the Unibet hand. This might be flop we should be leading, but just thinking that if we get this check raise chance, there is still we get such a low SPR if the William calls. Checks on the turn. Well, he probably still has something when he bet the flop 3-way, so it's fine to just peel the 3 card. And I'm just giving up tier. Bottom set straight blockers. Yeah, this was actually quite bad thing probably. Maybe I should have just checked cold. This guy has been really rarely raising. I'm just going to get away cheaply. I mean, when he raises here, I think chances of bigger set or some sort of really strong combo draw is fairly high. I think I just bought here and fold if he. Let's make it 3/4 pot. Well, ace didn't scare this guy, it seems. We have ace king on the upper left, so I don't think there is any reason to turn the hand into bluff overall. And I think we can argue about catching all he had. That's the second time, of course. Yeah, I think on the 3/3 jack when they will then raise on the flop. Raise on the flop, it's also kind of well, can't find. But the point is that when I had the jack, it will also decrease those combo draws and probably make make it more likely that the villain has bigger sets. And I'm really short stack on the bottom left. Nice timing this guy has. So we have 9-7 open ender and 10 will actually give us not straight. But no hit and 2 players, so probably not going to work to try to bluff. Enough. We are parit. I think it's a decent hand to just try to take the pot down. Pot down here. And top left we have, I think, good enough aces to. I mean, it's pretty premium aces overall. So we have 3 clubs. Isn't the perfect thing, but Jack was diamond, then it would be pretty much the perfect one. We are really deep against this guy, but he actually folded. And completely missing the flop with the bottom right. I think on the top right we can just check back, but this guy actually Don't shoves. I think we want to just pot here. We have top two. Top two here. With SPR 2.5, so. Well, 4-3-3 shouldn't hit either. Well, at least small blind, which of course is going to call. Oh, it was. Jesus, I again didn't notice it was. I was thinking it was three-way. Well, there's no point to bet here. We are now crossing basically all the flush draws. And I don't think there is really value. He could have rare with the 3x, but sometimes like pocket queens and pocket kings and such. So. And pocket jacks, it seems. Five-way pots. Well. Or maybe this should be actually open fold, especially when we are. Maybe I should be changing the table. I mean, two big stacks on the left is kind of a bad thing. Bottom two pair, nothing else really. Wow, does this guy has pocket kings? Or maybe like he's king with the backup or something. I mean, they are really deep here, so. Okay, well, 3-bet, 3-bet, but I see, but he raises, so he's basically repping the Jack 10. I suppose we can just, though we have to call it here, and basically we can still give up if we don't improve. And that unfortunately doesn't improve me. Oh, and he didn't have the, luckily he didn't make the river bluff. I don't know if he was value betting earlier than something. You have like 3 pairs or Queen 9, 8, 10. Not totally sure, was it like bluff on the earlier streets or. Well, luckily he didn't follow the river anymore. I would have folded. I would have folded. Is King Queen 10, and I think upper right is there is also one player not in the table, so it's actually MP position. And Mr. 3-bet is 3-betting once again. And once again I miss completely. Well, ace, king, king, queen here, and this guy is actually short stack also, so pretty clear. Pretty clear 3-bet stack off against him. Pretty horrible flop though. But we actually find the backdoor flush draw even with the 3 diamond. But obviously SPR1, I don't think there is pretty much any board we can be folding. So, alright, I basically just hope that these guys would fold because I only have, well, I have some sort of hand, but not really that strong one overall. He bets. I think it would be kind of tricky spot because we also block the Jack 10 type of hand, but at the same time he didn't raise the flop, so I would imagine that if he had King Queen he would have gone for it, so I'm not sure, maybe I should be just potting the turn and commit myself here. Assuming that he doesn't have better hand most of the time. Queen, king, queen, jack, check. I think we can check back here. We definitely don't want to get raised at least. So we have a lot of blockers against the raising range as well, I suppose. Maybe it's just fine to bet still. It should be relatively rare that we get raised, I suppose. Interesting flop on the upper right. I mean, I think we can probably see bet small or check. And top left we have got shot king backdoor flush draw, so I think we probably have to go with this hand. So if he has the aces, of course we are not in perfect great situation. Yeah, I lost, I think. Not my day, it seems. Raising. Jesus. Two outer, of course. Yep. Oh well. Didn't believe the deuce, but yeah, he didn't have the deuce. That turn didn't really help me. It's kind of a weird spot, so like, well, maybe he has something. Okay. I flopped the second not flush with the straight flush draw. I donk pot, so might be that he has to. Not flush, but I think it's out of question that he might have pure flush sometimes. Or he had 7 blocker. Well, that's one way to do it, I suppose. Well, I think I should have a lot of fold equity here. I mean, I might bet just half pot because this is really dry flop. So maybe potting would be more sensible in a certain way. But we are also investing a lot and we still have to fold if they still happen to raise, so that's why I didn't want to Go for it. Nine, eight, check. Well, it's again really dry flop, and we definitely would be nice to get some of the better hands to fold. It's pretty rare that he has really strong hand here, so I think we can argue about potting. Also block a little bit of the backdoor diamond. And luckily he folded, so we didn't have the wonder river spots. A lot of clubs, still 2 on the flop. Well, I don't think there is point in betting bottom left. Now unfortunately we lose to every bet pair. Nasty river. Well, outside the table we have 3 pairs, we are not blocking any of the draws and so on, so I think we just stack off. Yeah, of course. Worst possibility, he has the aces. Oh well. I'm just going to see bet, though it's ugly if the villain happens to check raise, but I mean, still, if he has like weaker straights, 2 pair sets, we are getting value, and those are most likely not raising at least. And yeah, we also had the king for the, so even if the villain raise, I think we can continue having the guts to not straight and backdoor not flush draw. And we get wrap and backdoor flush draw. And now we have the nuts and we block. And we block the same straight. By having the two nines, so it's pretty rare that he has to straight with the redraw or something. Something like that. Well, that wasn't exactly flop. Looked for on the top left. And not going to play this is King Jack 3. I mean, if it's the 9 was a 3 was 9 or 10, we could open raise, but it was probably even if he has like ace king jack 10, I would still fold to any raise pretty much. And we flop pretty much perfect. Well, we don't have the straight, but I mean, top 2 straight draw. And I suppose we could also check. We don't really basically need protection. If they have the straight, we are anyway getting the chips in. Maybe we get opponent to make some sort of step here more often. So he had the open ender and flush draw, so I don't think it would have mattered, even if I had put it myself. With the caller, I think, and having the double shooted jacks, we can call here. And now we have overpair, not flush draw, guts up, so suppose we can be playing for stacks if we. Ace king queen queen is a 3-bet. Yeah, is he folding aces or kings? I think it's going to be hard, so let's check and see. Maybe we win once in a while. Didn't hit any of the outs. I suppose flop check would have been fine as well, if we don't want to parallel multiple streets and try to get her pair to fold. But at the same time, I mean, we hit the flush, we might get some weaker flush to give a lot of value, or if we hit the straight, it's still going to be often the best hand, so I don't know. Well, outside table, big blind 3 betting 5, 5, 6, 6 jack, single suit. Pretty absurd. Well, went for the 3-bet with the rundown. Same guy, cold calling, of course. And yeah, this is not really something we hoped for when 3-betting. But we flopped the second nut and flush draw. So I suppose probably want to. Yeah, I think this guy can have other stuff than nuts, and quite often we still have the flush draw at least alive. King 10 5 deuce. Hopefully he doesn't win. Jesus. Well, that's one way to play. And we get basically all in on the bottom left. Let's see what is the Lady Fortuna on my side. We might even get folds, I suppose. Sizing is so big. For the code 4-bet. It seems like we are 3-way. And it's fairly good flop, I would say. Unfortunately, we don't have the flush draw. Oh well. Yep. Lucky assholes. Oh well. Yep. Well, top right, this guy at least doesn't have aces, that's for sure. One of these, any double suited hand. Let's 3-bet guys. Oh well, once again, one of those big bots that can't come to my way on the bottom left. Well, I suppose this hand has some merit in calling, because we can hit in some really nice ways if we are absurdly lucky. Would be nice spot, I think, to bet, but we have this third player, so I think his range can be hitting here pretty strong. It checks back. I think we could get aces to fold here fairly often, but this bottom guy might have some 2 pairs and so on. And he snaps with checks. Okay. Obviously I don't really rep the straight here, I'm repping sets 2 pairs, that sort of stuff. Weak straight. It's kind of an interesting question that should we be 4-betting this hand if the small blind 3-bets, because we have seen that he's capable of 3-betting pretty much any double suited hand, so I think this sort of hand would become kind of a value hand against that sort of. Well, I just call on the top right, so it was. We only have 8 jack, so I wonder if there is some merit in just potting. Because that way we keep our range to have the king 10, queen 10 as well. If we check back, I think our options are pretty much to try to check to showdown unimproved 10. It doesn't really make sense to be checking the turn and 10 trying to say that we have a strong hand if the report doesn't change in any way. So we have try straight here. He didn't bet the flop, so I would imagine the straight to be good quite often. Well, premium kings on the top left. I suppose we are just going to 4-bet, blocking the king aces also, and I mean, even if we run into aces, we probably have decent amount of equity. Let's hope that he doesn't have the ace. 9. But yeah, it's SPR1. We definitely want to protect our hand, so I think potting is the only way. Because if we start checking tier 10, all sort of hands are suddenly having some straight and flush draws and whatever. So might be spot to just check fold on the bottom right actually. Don't really have that much. Somehow it manages to put the awkward card on the turn anyway. Yeah, I was going to be calling if the will bets. But yeah, I think I'm going to end the stream. Seems to be working at least now, so maybe I'm going to be trying to stream at later points during the earlier daytime and not on the evenings. It doesn't seem to be working nicely on evening times. But yeah, bye for now.